Standard 11 is living things. And the first thing to remember is all living things are made of cells. And so if we're going to determine if a mystery substance is alive or not, something living or that has been living at one point, all we need to do is identify whether it has cells or not. So the process to do this is important. We have to gather the specimen from the sample, whatever it is, and then we have to put it on a glass slide, and then we put that slide under the microscope, and then we determine whether it has cells or not. And if we know generally what cells look like, then we can determine whether that specimen was living or not. So also forensic researchers, when there have been crimes, if the person who is attacked has, let's say there's evidence that there was a struggle. Let's say the struggle is, they scratched the other person in self-defense before they were killed. And so when the forensic team arrives on the scene, they are able to check the stuff that they have in their nails. Was there a struggle, and was there another person involved? And they can know this by gathering a specimen from under the nail, put it on the slide, look under the microscope, and see if it has cells in it or not. It's possible that there was an attacker or another person involved. So that's evidence that that person was most likely murdered, as opposed to just dying from an accident. Okay, the other thing that you need to remember for this living things is multicellular organisms versus unicellular, or I'll just say single-celled organisms. So multicellular organisms, like an example of that would be us. We have a ton of cells, and we know that from the other units we studied. So we know that we're multicellular. Also, plants are multicellular. They have more than one cell. The only things that are single-celled are things that are very small, like bacteria or amoebas, parameciums. All those things they only have one cell. They just float around, and like in pond water, and they have their nucleus and they have their organelles inside there, but they're just one cell. And we know from sexual versus asexual reproduction that these guys reproduce asexually. They just divide in half and they make two. And now they've reproduced. But multicellular organisms have, like I said, more than one cell. They're more complex. They have more to them, like their cells are together, joined together to form tissues, and their tissues join together to form organs, and their organs join together to form organ systems, and then lots of organ systems is an organism. So you just need to remember the difference between these, that a plant or flower or any of those things are going to be multicellular. Also, fish are multicellular. Just those little cells that float around in pond water, or bacteria that get into our bodies and live off of our bodies, right? Those are all single-celled organisms.